Says the table below shows the total math readiness points earned by 5 fourth grade classrooms during the fall semester. We have the teacher, and then how many points the class earned. It wants us to use the numbers from the table to answer questions 1 through 4. Which teacher shows a total number of points with a 2 in the hundred thousands place? The first thing I would do here is I can see that not all of my numbers are the same size. Some of them are a little bigger, some of them are a little longer, some of them are a little shorter. So the first thing I would do is I would put my numbers into a place value chart. I could draw it on either side of my table here. And what I could do is if I draw it on this side and I use this side for my place value chart, I can actually make sure that they stay lined up with the teacher names. That way it makes it a little simpler for me to keep everything organized. I want to make sure I label my place values. I can see that most of my numbers have 2 commas, which means I need to go up to the millions place. Ones. And again, I'm going to put all of my numbers here, so I'm going to make it a longer place value chart. Tens, hundreds. Here's where my first comma would go. What place value goes in front of the hundreds? What would be the next place value I have to write? Ones, tens, hundreds. Kylie, what would come next?
Thousands.
Thousands. After thousands would be 10,000. After 10,000, what would be next? Ones, tens, hundreds, 1,000, 10,000, then what? What would be the next place value, the one that goes in front of the 10,000? Ezekiel.
What?
What would be the next place value?
Uh,
We've got the
hundred
ones.
thousands.
There we go, 100,000s. Let's try to make sure that we're staying focused, okay, Ezekiel?
Okay.
Okay. 100,000s. There's the second comma. I need one more place value. Who can tell me what place value would go in front of the 100,000? Kylie.
Million.
Millions. Okay. So those should be all the place values I need. I've got my 2 commas. And I'm going to just copy my numbers over. And again, since they're right next to my chart, I can kind of make sure they stay lined up. I'm going to make sure I use those commas to help me put my numbers in the right place. 2, comma, 4, 6, 2, comma, 9, 1, 8. Then I can do the next number, and again, I'm going to use those commas to help me keep everything lined up. There's going to be a comma here, 2, comma, 1, 8, 4, comma, 3, 2, 0.
You just did.
Next number again, I'm going to use my commas to keep everything lined up. Comma, comma. 1, comma, 9, 4, 6, comma, 8, 2, 4. This next number only has 1 comma, so I have to make sure that I'm careful about that. That 1 comma needs to stay in that same place. 8, 4, 6, comma, 9, 2, 7. And the last one has 2 commas again. 1, comma, 2, 8, 3, 0, 9, 3. All right. Now, question number 1 was asking about a specific place value. They asked about the 100,000s place. I'm going to look at the 100,000s place. I'm going to put an arrow on top of mine. 100,000 place. Which number or which class had a 2 in the 100,000s place? If I look in that 100,000s place, which class is it that has a 2 in the 100,000s place? What do you think, Christopher? Which class is it that had a 2 in the 100,000s place? Mr. Lin, very last class. There's the 2 in the 100,000s. My answer is B. Okay, question 2. We're still using these same numbers. Which expression shows the total number of points earned by Mrs. Key's classroom? Instead of looking at all of the numbers, they want us to look at just one, at Mrs. Keefe's classroom, this number here. If I look at my answer choices, I can see that they are breaking up the number using place values. So they're making expanded form versions of the number. I just need to make sure that whatever expanded form they wrote down actually matches the number that she has. Expanded form always starts with the biggest place value. Always. So we'd start with the 2. What place value is the 2 in? Kylie?
The millions place.
In the millions place. So I need to start with 2 million. 200,000. No. 200,000. No. 2 million. 2 million. Okay, I'm down to 2 answer choices. Now we go to the next biggest place value. That brings us to the 1. What place value is the 1 in? Jadine?
100,000.
The 100,000. So I need 100,000. 2 million plus 100,000. 2 million plus 100,000. Both of them are still okay. After the 1, I go to the next biggest place value. What is the next biggest place value after the 1? Noah?
10,000. I mean,
10. Oh, you're right.
100,000.
The one was in the 100,000s. You're right. The 10,000s is next. What place or what number do I see in that 10,000, Noah?
8.
8. So 8 10,000s or 80,000. 2,100,000, 80,000. 2,100,000, 8,000. So the only one that would match Mrs. Keefe's number here is H. All the other ones either messed up right away, or in this case, they messed up when they got to the 10,000s. Okay. Number 3, write the total number of points earned by Mr. Lin's classroom in word form. Okay. Word form is just when they write the number out using words instead of using numbers. If I'm going to change a number into word form, truthfully, I don't use a place value chart. I just break it up into chunks using either the decimals or the commas in the number. None of our numbers have decimals, so we're going to use the comma. And we're going to look at Mr. Lin's classroom. Yes, Alexa.
What page is that on?
Skills 19.
Thank you.
Mr. Lin's classroom. I'm going to write it here on the side. And instead of putting it into a place value chart, what I'm going to do is just put it into into boxes. And my boxes are going to start and stop where I see a comma. So the first box has a 1, and then there's a comma. Then I'm going to draw another box. Put all the numbers before the next comma. And then I have one more box. Okay, so there's my number, and all I did was use the commas to separate it. Once I have the number broken up, it's a lot simpler for me to write the word form. I just go piece by piece. Yes, Kylie?
What are we doing? Like,
I
what
don't know.
question are we on for this? Because my computer disconnected.
We're on skills 19.
What question are we on?
We're on question 3 now.
Okay.
Okay. So we just go piece by piece. How would I write the number in this first box? What number do I have here? Bradley? What number do I have here in this first box?
One.
1. But I know that this isn't just a regular 1. What is this 1? This is 1 what? Jadine?
Million.
1 million. 1 million. We talked about this yesterday. In word form, wherever there's a comma, there is also going to be a comma in standard form. And the same is true in reverse. Wherever there's a comma in standard form, there needs to be a comma in word form. So if there's a comma after my 1 million, I better put a comma after 1 million. What about the next piece of my number? How would I say this number? How would I write this number? Kylie?
The whole number?
Just this part right here.
Okay. 283,000.
There we go. 200 83, and then we have to put 1,000 because there's that comma there. So I need to know what period this was. This was the thousands. And again, if there's a comma after 283 in my number, there's a comma after 283 in my words. Now I just need the last piece. What number is in that last box, that last piece of the number? We wrote down the 1. We wrote down the 283. How would I say the last piece? How would I say it, or how would I write it? What do you think, Alexa? How would I say that last piece?
The last piece, you should say, wait, on number 2?
For number 3, we already wrote down 1. We already wrote down 283. What's this number?
93.
93. And since there's no comma after it, I don't have to put thousand or million or billion. I just put 93. That's it. There's no more to the number, so there's no more I have to write. 1,283,093. Number 4 is the last question that we're going to use with these numbers. Write the total number of points earned by Mrs. Given's class in expanded notation. So this is similar to the problem that we just did. Just instead of writing it in word form, they want the number in expanded notation. The good thing is, we already put our number into a place value chart. We're looking at Mrs. Given's class. The very top number. Again, expanded notation. All you're doing is taking the number and you're breaking it up using the place values. What is the biggest place value in Mrs. Given's number? If I go all the way up to the very end of that place value chart, what's the biggest place value? Violet?
The hundreds place.
So is the hundreds place the biggest place value in the number?
And the ones place.
But we can't have an and. I want the biggest place value, not the biggest digit, the biggest place value.
The million.
The million. And what digit is in the millions place?
2.
2. Okay, so we always start with the biggest place value. We know there's a 2 there. Then we use a multiplication sign to show what place value it's in. 2 times 1 million. Then I put a plus sign to show people that's not all of the number. It's not just 2 million. It's 2 million and some more. After the millions place, what is the next biggest place value that I need to use? 2 million and what? Kylie?
1,000. I mean 100,000.
100,000. I can't skip all the way down here yet. 100,000, and what digit is in the 100,000s?
4.
4. 4 times, to show that that's the place value we're talking about, 4 is in the hundred thousands place. And then again a plus sign because there's still more to this number. 2 times 1 million plus 4 times 100,000 plus, what's the next place value that I need to use? We use the millions, we use the 100,000s. Which one would be next? Chase? Not the thousands, not yet. We did millions, we did 100,000s. What would be next? The 10,000s. And Chase, what digit is in the 10,000s place? 6. 6 times 10,000. And the number still goes on, so we put another plus sign. Okay, we've used the millions, the 100,000, the 10,000. What place value comes next in my number? What's the next one, Alexa?
Thousands.
Thousands place. And what digit is in the thousands place?
Um.
We're looking at Mrs.
2.
Givens. 2. Okay. 2
Yeah.
times 1,000. There's a 2 in the thousands place. The number is not done yet, so there's another plus sign. We've used the millions, the 100,000, the 10,000, the 1,000. What place value would be next? Jadine?
Hundreds.
Hundreds. And what digit is in the hundreds place?
9.
9. So 9 times 100. Number's not over yet, so another plus sign. Okay, we've used the millions, 100,000, 10,000, 1,000, hundreds. What comes next? Kylie?
Tens.
Tens. And what digit is in the tens?
1.
1. 1.
It'd be 1
Times
times 10.
Okay, we put another plus sign. Oh, another plus sign. We're almost finished with the number, but not quite. What's the next place value I need to use? Alexa?
Ones.
And what digit is in the ones place?
8.
8. 8 times 1. And since this number does not have any decimals, I'm finished. I don't put another plus sign. That's the end of the number. Okay. The last question does not use these numbers from up here. It uses its own numbers. Mr. Bell bought supplies that cost $12.73. Digit 3 in this number has a value of blank. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this number from word form and write it in standard form. If I notice when they told me how much he paid for these supplies, they used the word and. I had told you the other day and told you before, whenever we see the word and in a number, what are they telling you? What goes where the and is? Because normally when you say numbers, you don't say and, you only say it for one reason. Why would you say and when you're reading a number? Violet?
It means to add.
Not to add, not in this case. When they give us the word form of a number, like this one, $12.73. What goes where the and goes when we write it in standard form? Alexa, do you remember?
Wait, do I explain it?
Yeah,
Or-
go ahead.
It's like if you put, and like if I have $2 and 75 cents? It's
Mhm.
like if you're splitting up a number.
It's like you're splitting up the number, absolutely. So what do I use to show that these are split up? What do we put?
Um,
Something that starts with a D.
decimals?
We put a decimal. Whenever I see the word and in a number, when they write it for me in word form, and is telling me this is a decimal. So whenever I see and in a number, I put a decimal, a big decimal. Now, Violet, if they say something like, what's the number of apples and oranges, then I might want to add. But if the word and is in the middle of my number, they're trying to tell me, hey, this number has a decimal. So I'm going to write what they gave me. Here's my decimal. $12. Put my money sign here. $12 and decimal 73 cents. They're asking about my value. The place value chart. Decimal. In front of the decimal, you have the ones place and the tens place. What about after the decimal? After the decimal, I've got two decimal place values. What's the first one? Messiah, what's that first decimal place value? What's the first decimal place value, Messiah? Yep. Who can help him out? Jaylene. What's the first decimal place value?
Dime.
We do write dimes on top of it to remind ourselves, but what's the place value called? Dimes is the reminder, but what is the place value? Violet? The 10th place. So I'm glad that you remember the dimes, Jaylene, because tenths are like our dimes. It takes 10 of them to make one. What about the next decimal place value? If this is the 10th, next one is what? Jadine?
The ones, please.
Not the ones place, because the ones is right here. We've got the ones, the 10th, and what?
Pennies.
Pennies is the reminder. But how many pennies does it take to make $1, Jadine?
One.
Just
100.
100. So this is my 100th place. If you can remember the reminders, like pennies, just remind yourself, how many dimes does it take to make $1? It takes 10. So this is the 10th place. You can remember pennies. How many pennies does it take to make $1? It takes 100. So this is my 100th. And they're asking about the 3, which is in our 100th place. Take a look at the answer choices. 3 times 0.1. 0.1 is right here, but that's on top of the 10th place. 3 times 0.01. That's on top of the 100th place. That looks pretty good. 3 times $1.0. That's in front of the decimal. My 3 is behind it. And answer choice D does a similar thing. 3 times 10.0. That's in front of the decimal. My 3 is behind the decimal. So my answer is D.